Welcome to episode 9 of our third series on the surnames and early families of Appalachia and the good old American South. Today's families will take us from places like Georgia and Kentucky to Ireland, Scotland, and the Scandinavian lands of the Vikings. We'll also get to delve into the origins of a famous southern family that uses milk cows to promote its products. If you're new to the channel, I mix in a bit of history, genealogy, and trivia along with the origin and meaning of requested surnames. My main goal is to identify families that have been in Appalachia and the southern United States since before the Civil War, aka the Antebellum period. With the possible exception of one, today's families date back to colonial times. This series is dedicated to the memories of those who gave us life and freedom. And speaking of freedom, if you'd like a free copy of the surname catalog that lists the names and episodes that have been covered thus far, stick around to the end to find out how you can get one. It's just an email away. Promises to be a good show, so I hope you'll join me. Number 1, Worley, Warley, or Wortley. I was happy to receive a request for Worley. I had a professor colleague once at Lincoln Memorial University named David Worley. He was an awesome professor of English and a trusted colleague. He was a native of Alabama, and even after 2 decades at LMU, he kept his, well, you may not know that LMU is in Tennessee. It's right on the Tennessee, Virginia, and Kentucky state lines. Right next to the Cumberland Gap, by the way. Anyway, his permanent residence was in Alabama, as well as his car's registration. Now, it's fitting that David Worley was a professor of English because his surname and its alternate forms, Wortley and Warley, are of English origin. The family seems to have started its life in Yorkshire, England, a region that was heavily settled by Angles and later Vikings, both of which came from what is today Denmark. By the way, that's a major reason why it's hard to separate English or Anglo-Saxon DNA from Viking DNA, unless of course they came from Sweden and Norway. But the Danish Vikings look about the same, almost the same as Germanic DNA. You might be interested to know that England means the land of the Angles, Anglan or England. At any rate, one of the earliest representatives of the family of Worleys that I could find in the South was Nathaniel Worley. He was born in Burke County, North Carolina in 1780. He relocated a little to the west and settled in Madison County, North Carolina. He passed away there in 1870. His father was most likely Francis S. Worley, who was born in York, Pennsylvania in 1758. Nathaniel married Amanda Robinson, and they produced at least 12 youngins. Now, if you're interested in the surname Robinson, I covered it in episode 56, which was premiered on April 12th, 2023. At the end of the day, this Antebellum family is of English origin. I didn't find it in, or any of its variants, among the traditional surnames of Ireland, or Scotland, or Wales. Number 2, Walton. If you're my age or thereabouts, you no doubt know about Mary Ellen, Jim Bob, and John Boy Walton. They lived on a fictitious Virginia mountain, which was filmed in the equally make-believe world of Hollywood. California, that is. The name Walton, however, is not fictitious. It's an English family name that was given to one who lived by a farmstead enclosure or a farmstead owned by a foreigner. Now, that's kind of apropos for the Waltons, wouldn't you say, because they were kind of rural folks living on a farm on a mountain? Now, you might find this interesting. The invading Saxons in what's today England called the natives of Britain the Wallace, which meant foreigner. It's from that word that Wales and Welsh are derived. I think that's kind of weird. You know, you invade a country, you push their people to the west, and you call them the foreigners. What about that? What guys they were, and gals. I was able to find Walton among the traditional names of Ireland, but not Wales or Scotland. You might find this interesting as well. Well, you might be thinking, okay, Dan, let's hear it. While the TV show was actually based on the Hamner family of Schuyler, Virginia, members of the real Walton family lived in the colony as early as 1645. It was in that year that an unknown set of parents gave birth to a wee baby named Edward. He would later be renamed Edward Walton Sr. He would later be named Edward Walton Sr. when he married a Scottish lass named Elizabeth Napier Walton, and they introduced Edward Jr. to the Tidewater Society of York, Virginia in 1668. Showing an apparent preference for ladies named Elizabeth, Edward Jr. later married Elizabeth Mason, and together they had at least 5 young'uns. Many of their grandchildren moved to Kentucky, North Carolina, and Alabama. Number 3, Allie. As we've mentioned a few times on the Vantage Point, simple or short names can have multiple origins and meanings. Here are a few associated with the surname Allie. It can be a shortened English version of Allison, Alexander, or Allen. It can also be a form of the French Hallie or the Scandinavian Alley. Nevertheless, Allie is an anglicized family name, no matter where it originated. According to Edward MacLeisic, in Ireland it was introduced by English settlers, but he contends that the name originated in Scandinavia, with the Vikings. As with Walton, it's not found among the traditional surnames of Scotland or Wales, so that leaves us with an English or Irish ancestral connection. One of the first members of the Alley family in the south was Thomas Alley. He greeted the world in Devonshire, England in 1616. He married Martha Rudder in England in 1654 and then moved to America. He died in the Virginia colony sometime after 1679. Martha and Thomas had 5 young'uns. By 1758, a great-grandson named Thomas Anthony Alley Jr. was living in South Carolina. And in 1836, another great-grandson named Samuel Peter Alley took his last breath in Sumner County, Tennessee. Hey, do you get a kick out of euphemisms for passing away, which is itself a euphemism for dying? Ugh. At any rate, Alley is an Antebellum family that came from England or possibly Ireland. Number 4, Macon, or Magon. This surname appears in at least 2 flavors. Each makes a similar sound to the other. They derive from the Irish name, or, in either case, it means the son of, I hate to giggle at that, folks, but what else can I do? Fill in the airspace somehow or another. This name is distinct from O'Gahan, which is another Irish family altogether. It's distinct from Macon. Macon is not a particularly common name in the United States, and it's not particularly common in the South, but 76% of all Macons in the United States lived in North Carolina in 1880. One of the earliest Macon folks that I could find records on was Alexander, that's Hugh Alexander Macon. He was born in County Antrim, Ireland in 1753. He may have resided for a while in North Carolina, but he moved to Jackson County, Tennessee, near Cookville, or Cook Vegas. So that's where I went and earned my bachelor's degree. He lived his life there. He passed away in 1820. Now, if you're a history buff, you might note that Daniel Boone also died that year in Missouri. At the end of the day, I'm confident that Macon is an Antebellum family of Irish origin. Not Scots-Irish, but Irish. Number 5, Cathy. If you're a fan of good old southern cooked chicken, notice I didn't say fried chicken because I really don't know how they cook their chicken, you can't go wrong with Chick-fil-A. It was founded by S. Truett Cathy, a native of Putnam County, Georgia. His grandfather was Thomas Alexander Cathy. While his grandpa's birthplace is unknown, as well as his parents, he's believed to have greeted the world in 1836, the same year that the Texicans were defeated at the Alamo. At some point, he moved to or was otherwise recorded as living in Georgia. He died there in 1902. While it may appear that the surname was shortened from Kathleen, oh Kathleen, it wasn't. The Antebellum family has roots in Galloway, Scotland. Their surname derives from McCarthy. Georgia's Cathy line may have arrived in North Carolina before 1750 when a County Antrim-born Scots-Irish or Ulster Scots immigrant named James Cathy put down roots in Rowan, North Carolina. Some of his grandchildren, or children I should say, later relocated to South Carolina, Virginia, and Pennsylvania. One of his sons was Captain George Cathy. He decided to make the mountainous county, Burke County in North Carolina, that's over near Asheville, his home. Now I'm confident that Cathy is an Antebellum family of Scottish or Ulster Scots origin. Well folks, that's about all I have for you today. I hope you got something meaningful out of the discussion, and will join me again here on the Vantage Point. Now, if you'd like a free copy of the list of names and families that we've covered thus far here on the Vantage Point, write to me at vantagepoint22@gmail.com and I'll send it to you ASAP. Until we meet again, God bless you and yours. Bye-bye.